So hello everyone, in this video we'll be understanding about how you can write SQL queries in Node.js. So basically we'll be understanding how we can connect MySQL to Node.js and how we can write queries in them. So let's initiate a new Node.js project. So I have uh, already created this directory adding SQL to Node, and inside that I'll be opening an integrated terminal. So if you're not following Visual Studio Code, so you're missing something very important, because this is a great editor which you can use for web development. So in here, I can initiate my project by using npm init command. This will ask me some questions that I can answer, or I can just press enter and leave them out. So let's leave the defaults. So it will generate this package.json file, which will be our entry point for all the dependencies which we are going to install. So we have to install some dependencies or the packages, which are, first of all, we need to install Express because we want to write an Express app. Then we can install Course for removing course errors, and the package which I'm going to use will be MySQL 2 to connect with the MySQL database in Node.js. So this is a very good package that you can use. You can also see the documentation, the npm documentation, if you want. So let me just press enter and let it just install. And by using this MySQL 2 package, you will be able to create tables and write your queries. All type of queries you can write there. And for more information, you can search about this package as well. In the documentation, you will find everything that you want to understand about this package. But I'll be giving you the basic overview that how you can perform queries and connect with the database. After that, let's just create one index.js file which we added in the entry, which was this index.js. So if you name this file something else, let's say server.js, so you'll be changing that in here. So that you have to remember. And you can also see that in the package.json, all the dependencies with their versions are installed. Now we can simply create an Express application in here. So first of all, I'll be requiring the Express, let's say Express, and I can require that. Also, I didn't install .env because I didn't want to use the environment variable files. We are just understanding how we can connect with the database and perform queries. So I'll be just writing the passwords and all in normally in this file. But if you're in the actual development, so you should not store passwords in the JavaScript files or in any files except the env files. So in here you can just create one app constant and use this express method to create this app. This will be our main app that will be receiving routes, and the listen method we'll be using that. First of all, we'll be initializing some middlewares by using app.use, and inside that let me just also require course as well, because that's very important. If you are in the development, you should also add this middleware, because it removes some of the errors which are generated, like course errors. Sometimes the course errors are generated, so that you can solve with this course package. In this, you can also provide the origin that specify from where you want to receive the request in this application. So I'll be leaving this out because that will accept request from anywhere. So this is the thing, and after that I can use one more package or middleware, which is express.url encoded, which allows us to send bodies on the whatever we want to send in the request. So we'll be able to pass the bodies So it is kind of a body parser you can think of. So earlier we used to have body parser package, but nowadays we use this URL encoded. And inside that we can specify extended, and extended to you can write, and we can write app dot let's say a get route here to just check only that whether our application is working or not, and receiving the routes as well. I can just send the hello world here, that hello server, or let's say hello from server, and that's it. After that I can listen on some specific port, and also this port number is stored in the env files. Right now we are not building a huge application, so I'll be just writing the port number hard coding, like by hard coded, in a hard coded way. And after that, putting a comma, you can give just a callback, and inside this you can create a log that it is listening on this port successfully, listening on 5000 port, let's say. That's capital T, right? So this is the basic stuff we need to do for creating a basic server in Express. After that, you need to do two things here that you can take a tip. Like, there is a package called nodemon that you can use to start your server, because nodemon allows us to restart it automatically restarts the server if we make any changes to the files. So we can use nodemon in the development, so like as a development. So I can use nodemon. I have already installed nodemon globally, so I don't need to install this package in here. So I can just write nodemon start, the package name or the file name is this, and for production we'll be using this start or the general node command to start our index.js file. So in the production, if you write npm start, so it will start this index.js file with the help of this command, and if you write npm run dev, then it will start the Express server with this command with the help of nodemon. So let's start with nodemon by using npm run dev. So it will start our app on port 5000, and we can also verify that by going into our browser. Let's say not this, so I can go to my browser. I'm using Firefox, you can use any browser, and search for localhost 5000 to check whether our server is working or not. You can see we got the message hello from server, so now it's working properly. So now we can simply go to our code and write the further code that we need to apply. So the first thing that you have to do is, without writing any extra code for MySQL, you just have to make sure that you have already created some database in your MySQL workbench, right? Because that will be needed to make the connection with this. So you can use MySQL workbench for this. Also, I have created one video to install MySQL in your Windows computer. You can watch that video if you want to search that. So you can search that in the playlist of CodersArts channel, or you can just simply type in the YouTube search bar MySQL by CodersArts, so you'll get the video. Inside that you will get all the process of installation and setting up the root password as well. So inside that I'll be creating a sample schema which will be our test database that you can use, test db. I can apply this. We'll be storing everything, or we'll be creating all the tables inside this test db. Right now it doesn't have any table or anything. Let's go to our code and just start writing some code for this. First of all, we'll be requiring that package which we installed, which was MySQL 2, right? So we have like this package we have initialized in this variable. Now after that we can simply create a connection variable or a constant. You can name it anything. I'm just following the docs, so I'll be using connection. You can use any like constant name or a variable name if you want to make it a variable instead of a constant. So I can use it with the help of MySQL constant, which we initialized here, and after that there will be a method called create connection. We'll be using this, and inside that, in a curly bracket, you have to pass some properties. Those will be, the first will be host, that on which host you are running this. If it is a local host, so you can write localhost. If it is a like a production database, so you can write the production database URI here. And then after that, you just have to write the user, so from which user you want to access the database, or in some cases you'll not have the password for this root database. In my case, I have set up some password, so I'll be using this password field. So inside that, I'll be using my password for the database. So right now I'm not storing anything in the .env files or the env files, so I'll be using directly to the directly password in this file. So make sure if you are in the development, you don't write password like this, you write it inside a .env file. After that, you can specify the database name that you want to connect. The database is testdb that we just now created, and that's it. We can now use this connection to make queries in the database. So let's write a query by using this connection constant and accessing this query method. Inside this, you can see it is suggesting that you can write SQL statement in a string. So you can, let's create a table called users. So create table, I'll be using if not exist, because if it exists, so we don't want to create the table. So that's why I'll be using this, and I can create a table called users, and inside that I can specify all the fields. For example, let's say username. First of all, we need an ID, so I'll be using ID int username varchar, and that will be for sorry, that's not 255, and it's in the bracket. After that, I can write email, that's also a varchar 255, and at the end I can just write address, let's say, and that is also a varchar. So you can write like this. So you have to write the queries like this inside a single quote or a double quote. You can use single quote, that will be good. And after that, you can provide a callback function here. So the callback function will receive two values. In some cases, it will be having three values that we will not discuss in this. If there are errors, so we can just simply console log the errors. Otherwise, I'll be just console logging the result. So this is my simple query. Let's see if this works. If I save this file, so NodeMon will automatically restart my server and it will write this query. You can see it is not giving me any error. So let's see if the database or the table is created or not. So I have to first refresh this, refresh all. Now I can expand this tables. You can see we have this users, but right now there are no value in this, so there are no like items or the fields here. Let's populate some items in the code. So that I can also do with the help of like the same query method, but instead I'll be just writing an insert into query. Similarly, you can write any query you want. I'm just giving you some examples that how you can perform queries in them. So I can write insert into and the table name, which is users, and then I can write the values and inside that the first one was then ID, the second was username, so make sure it is a string. So I'll be writing, let's say Johnny Depp, or let's say Tony Stark. That's more cooler. Tony Stark. And what was the second one? That was, I think, the email. So Tony @stark.com, let's say. So after that, we had an address, so New York, let's say. So we have all the values 1 2 3 4. Let's verify that as well. 1 2 3 4. Okay, so we have written this query. Let's see if that works or not. You can see it is returning something and not giving me error. So let's verify that if we got some data in here or not. Similarly, you can write, you can see that we have the data. Now similarly, you can write any query you want, whether it be select or delete or anything. You can also write queries in different routes as well. Like we have this home route like this. Similarly, you can write any query in the routes as well. So this was the thing in this Node.js, and how this is how we write SQL queries in Node.js. I hope you got the idea, and if you have some problem or issues, you can comment down. We'll definitely be solving that. And this is it for this video. Thank you for watching. Let's meet in the next video.